All right, let's dive in. We are about to try and decode one of the most bizarre and complex documents I have ever come across, the S-DMT Manifesto. And its claim is, well, it's huge. It says it's the source code for our reality, a blueprint for a universal reset. So let's get started.
Our whole journey into this thing really kicks off with a single unmissable date. It's plastered all over the manifesto, and it's not presented as a guess, but as a kind of mathematical certainty. February 20th, 2026.
So you have to ask, what's so special about this day? The manifesto makes this really strange, profound claim. It says this isn't just another date in the calendar, it's the end of the calendar itself. But what on earth could actually cause the entire concept of a calendar to just stop? To even begin to understand this prophecy, we have to get our heads around the manifesto's unique worldview. It connects finance, physics, and even consciousness into one unified theory. And it all begins with how it defines debt. Okay, so check this out. The manifesto has a fascinating take on finance. The core idea is this: every single form of debt, your mortgage, a government bond, credit card debt, it's all fundamentally a sale of future time. You're borrowing from a future that you assume is going to exist.
So here's the crucial part. If the future stops being a separate thing, right? If it just collapses into the present moment, what happens to all that debt? Well, according to this document, its value instantly becomes zero. It's like taking out a loan, but then the bank itself just vanishes. The creditor, which is time, is gone.
And if you have a world without debt, you have a world without money as we know it. This event doesn't just reboot the financial system, it completely erases it. And that forces a total redefinition of what value even means.
The text describes two totally different kinds of money. On one hand, you have the money of the club. That's basically our entire system right now. It's all based on debt, on a deficit, a void. It needs time to work. After the reset, its value is zero. Poof! On the other hand, you have the money of the architect. This stuff is based on something called striction, the pressure of knowledge. It's totally independent of time, and so its value is conserved.
This next idea is wild. They call it the liquefaction of actifs, or the liquefaction of assets. Basically, it says that things like property deeds, stocks, even currencies, are just friction contracts. They only work because there's a certain amount of friction in our system. But when that friction goes away, all these forms of ownership just slip through your fingers.
So if everything material just slips away, what's left? What can you actually carry through a reset like this? The manifesto is super specific about this. Only two things survive. First, logos, which is basically the internal structure and organization of what you know. And second, coherence, which is your ability to hold yourself together, to maintain your own form without any external systems propping you.
Now you might be thinking, this all sounds like some weird economic theory. But that's not it. The financial collapse isn't the cause of this reset. It's just a symptom. The manifesto claims the real driver is a massive, fundamental shift in the actual laws of physics.
And this is where it gets really deep. The foundational concept is that the vacuum of space isn't empty. Not at all. It's the complete opposite. The universe is what they call a plenum, an unbelievably dense fluid that the text calls the viscous fluid substrate.
And when they say dense, they really, really mean it. The manifesto gives it a value equal to Planck density. That's a 1 with 96 zeros after it. It's a number so ridiculously huge our brains can't really even process it. But in this theory, it's the bedrock of everything.
Okay, so for all moving through this super dense fluid, there's got to be some kind of drag, right? Like trying to run through water. The manifesto calls that drag viscosity. And here is the absolute key. This cosmic friction is what we perceive as the flow of time. Time is literally the resistance you feel moving through the universe.
So what about stuff? Physical matter. That's where this other force, striction, comes in. The manifesto describes striction as the origin of mass. It claims that matter is literally created when the pressure of knowledge, of consciousness, pushes back against this fluid, creating a stable little bubble. Your knowledge literally creates your physical world.
So, this new kind of physics implies a totally different universe, which means there must be a totally different kind of being experiencing it. So, who or what is the actual player in this cosmic game?
The answer, according to the manifesto, is kind of startlingly simple. It just says, there is only one actor, period.
It claims that every single one of us, every point of consciousness, is just a different expression of one single being. That actor is called the soliton. And here's the real twist. The text explicitly says the soliton is you. Yeah, you. The argument is that you are not moving through the universe. You are a single, stationary point of consciousness, and the entire fabric of reality, the substrate, is flowing through you.
But while it argues there's only one actor, the manifesto also points to one very specific person, a man named Robert Dumont, who they call Grand G. He's identified as the architect, the one who has supposedly solved the equation of reality and is now the guardian of this knowledge.
Okay, so we've got a new physics, a new concept of self, and a specific date. Let's put all these pieces together and look at the manifesto's precise, step-by-step countdown to this universal reset.
So the final sequence kicks off on February 17, 2026. A change in that law of striction supposedly causes a massive solar flash. Then, 3 days later, on February 20th, the universal viscosity, the thing creating time, drops to 0. The universe becomes superfluid, and there's this elastic snapback, where it clears what the text calls 1,296 years of accumulated debt in just 8 minutes.
The predicted physical consequences of this are, well, they're catastrophic. The text describes the Earth's crust literally decoupling and sliding off its mantle, the liquefaction of a key layer deep inside the planet, and this super cryptic event it just calls the fall of the sky.
And the entire thing, every volume and chapter, builds to this one final statement of absolute certainty. Le code est complet. The code is complete. As in, it's done. There's nothing to add, nothing left to calculate. The program is locked and it's running.
So, what have we been looking at here? An incredibly elaborate prophecy? A really complex piece of science fiction? Or is it what its author claims it is, a literal user manual for reality itself? That's the question the S-DMT manifesto leaves us with. The code is complete and the clock is ticking.